I'd like to talk about the NHS from the point of view of being a son, being a dad, and being somebody that works in the NHS. As a son, my mother has worked in the NHS for over 20 years as a healthcare assistant, and so therefore the NHS has been a common feature in our home. As a dad, I have two boys that are now grown into adulthood. Without the NHS, they wouldn't necessarily be where they are, particularly because one of them was born very prematurely. And as a senior manager in the NHS, it's the greatest job I've ever done because it's working for one of the best institutions in the world. I'd like to finally say that in terms of looking to the future, it feels to me like mental health services and the services that NTW provide are really centre stage now, with extra resources coming and enabling us to work together to improve the physical health, mental health and social care needs of people we serve.
Equality, diversity, respect. Thank you, NHS.
I love the NHS because it gives you peace of mind and a privilege to know that you've got quality health care that's available without financial burden when faced with physical illness, emotional difficulties or injuries.
So what does the NHS mean to me? 70 years ago, the NHS was founded. The principles surrounding why we needed the NHS are as relevant today as they were then in ensuring that healthcare is available to all that live in this country. Also, I've been employed in the NHS for 40 years now, and it's a service that I'm really proud to belong to.
As a newly qualified, I love the NHS because it welcomes everybody regardless of age, gender, disability, religion, ethnicity and sexuality.
I'm very grateful to the NHS that I'm not living on my own. When my eldest son was 3 weeks old, my wife had severe septicemia and would have died from it, leaving me widowed with a small child. He grew up and at the age of 13 he had appendicitis and would have died from it if he hadn't had the operation he needed. My youngest son wouldn't have been born, but actually when he was born at 2 weeks old he stopped breathing and would have been dead without the NHS. So I'm very grateful for the NHS. I have a family to live with.
So ultimately without units like Roker and Mowbray, which are funded by the NHS, people would not be able to come and be helped, and obviously the NHS team, from your nurses to your auxiliaries to your ward manager to your domestics, who all work together to get these people better and back out to where they need to go.
The NHS for me is a really good cause because it saved my mum when she had breast cancer. And it did help my ex-partner, who bless him passed away, but they were very supportive with his depression and everything. So it opened a lot of doors as well to me, the NHS. It showed us what the NHS can do for people with depression and breast cancer and how it's come along so far. It's amazing, the NHS. It really has helped my family through a lot of troubled times, and it's helped me through a lot, very, very a lot.
So for me, the NHS is the UK's greatest achievement, and it's something that I'm very proud of as a person, as a nurse. The principles that underpin the NHS, I think, are as relevant today as when the NHS first started 70 years ago. So the idea that somebody who needs healthcare treatment will receive it free of the point of delivery, and the fact that it's not based on wealth or status or ability to pay, is very, very important to me. The NHS is something we should cherish and we should nurture it, and I'm very, very proud of it, and I hope it survives another 70 years at least. So happy birthday NHS, I love you.
I feel really proud to have worked for 29 years in the NHS, and I feel privileged to have shared people's journeys to recovery. I think to me the NHS means high quality and compassionate care for all.
I think the first thing that's really important to say is that I think it's one of the most community spirited organisations the world has. I think it has a real togetherness, and it has a real the good, the main good, the whole good is its priority, and I think I'm a very fortunate person to be working within an organisation that works in that way.
For me, it comes down to three things really: integrity, compassion, and pride in the work that we do, and that's the same now as it always has been. I'm really proud to work for an organisation that has those nation's principles at the very heart of what we do, and then when you mix that with hard work, innovation and a genuine spirit to listen and learn, that's what makes the NHS what it is today.
There are many challenges ahead for the health service and for NTW, but I think we're in a good position to meet those challenges for three reasons. First, because in NTW values are lived. Service users and carers are engaged and staff are developed and supported. Secondly, because of what I call the circle of experience, the very long-serving staff that we have and the connections between the generations of staff. So many people have worked with each other and have developed over the years. And thirdly, the very important spirit of curiosity and improvement. Innovation, research and development, the desire always to do things better. So for those three reasons, I think NTW can look with confidence to the future.